So let's talk about the Amazon private label business model. Now, I've been a chartered accountant for 25 years and I've examined thousands of different businesses. And the Amazon private label business model is the best business model that I've seen. In no other business can you start with a small initial capital investment of $10,000 and turn it into a business earning $1 million profit a year within 4 to 5 years. And you can do it with organic growth, no extra funding, no VC investment, profitable from day one. And due to the negligible fixed costs and time involved, it is scalable like no other business I've seen. Now, we have big plans for our Amazon business, and not all of it's on Amazon, but we're going to use the cash flow from Amazon to fund the other projects for our products. But we're not there yet. We have to build up our Amazon business before we can think about those plans, one step at a time. But there are naysayers to Amazon. There's too much competition. The Chinese are coming in and undercutting prices. Or it's too late. You should have been there 3 to 4 years ago. Now, I'm going to show you that it doesn't matter. And it give you an advantage that'll put you ahead of 97% of the other sellers on Amazon. So let's look at some statistics that Amazon have provided. Now, there are 5 million Amazon seller accounts worldwide. That's a lot of people all hoping that they could make money from Amazon. But of those 5 million sellers, only 1.8 million have any inventory for sale. That means that 3.2 million Amazon sellers have zero inventory. So what happened to them? Did they give up, or maybe they're just starting? There's lots just starting, but not that many. And when we looked at our first product, we saved the Jungle Scout data and went back and had a look 6 months later. And we found that half the brands on the first page had disappeared, never to be seen again. And this was across lots of markets. It was a common theme. So out of those 1.8 million sellers with inventory in Amazon, there are only 140,000 sellers selling over $100,000 per year. That's 10 units per day at $25 a unit. So what happened to the other 1.6 million sellers that they just didn't get to $100,000 per year? Now, we started working with Amazon sellers in Australia and around the world, and we started to see some common problems that prevented these people from reaching their goals. Now, these sellers had good products with good reviews. They had well-optimized product pages. They had products that got organic sales in markets and niches that had enough volume. So what was holding them back? They should have been blitzing it, getting to the next stage of their business, developing new product lines, getting free cash from their business. So out of the 5 million Amazon sellers, only 140,000 or 3% were earning over $1 million a year. So 97% were not. And the reason these sellers did not get to their goals or get beyond the initial first stage of their business is cash flow. They didn't have enough cash flow to keep their products in stock. Now, there are many reasons why Amazon sellers run out of cash, which we'll discuss later. But let's put it in simple terms. What happens when you don't have enough cash? You can't afford to restock inventory. Your product goes out of stock, sales stops, cash flow stops, and then you have to restart your product again. Now, some Amazon sellers have structural problems with their business model, that it doesn't matter how many times they restart it, there'll always be problems. So we started looking at how and why people were consistently having problems with their Amazon business and started modeling the business out. Now, many of you have seen our cash flow models. We started looking at how we were running our Amazon business and how our clients were running theirs and the problems they were having and why. Now, cash flow is the number one reason all businesses fail, not just Amazon businesses. Fail in an Amazon business generally means they fade away and don't start again. So the 3.2 million sellers with no inventory. And it's not about sales or competition or products. It's about cash flow, and most Amazon sellers and business owners do not understand it. So the ability to grow and get your business to a position where you want it to be, whether it's delivering you $100,000 a year or $300,000 a year or $1 million a year, will depend on your cash flow. Now, an Amazon business has the ability to grow rapidly and be self-funding through organic growth. That is, you can start with a $10,000 investment and build it into a multi-million dollar business. So what are the factors that are going to affect your cash flow? The first one's going to be the gross profit rate, which is your gross profit divided by your sales. Now, this is a key factor. The key factor in your gross profit rate would be your sales price, because you have a direct influence over. Now, the thing to remember about your competitors is they will almost have the same cost structure as you, the same FBA fees, the freight will be the same. Their product might cost $1 or $2 less, but often you'll see competitors with a sale price of $10 or less. So a business with a lower gross profit rate cannot grow at the same rate as a high gross profit business without extra capital. So sellers selling at a low price to get sales will not have enough cash to keep their product in stock. Amazon's growing at 30 to 50% a year. So these low gross profit sellers can't even keep up with the growth in Amazon. So the second factor is the rate of growth. The faster you grow, the more money your business will need. And the faster you grow will also increase your risk. And the third factor is the inventory cycle, how quickly you can turn your inventory around. A business that's got a shorter inventory cycle will use less cash. So a high gross profit business can grow faster than a low gross profit business. Growing faster will use more cash, and a shorter inventory cycle will use less cash. So we built out some sophisticated cash flow modeling of the Amazon business model that we use in our own Amazon business for our clients. And the information here is just the dashboard. So let's look at some simple cash flow examples. So this model has a $10,000 investment. We're reinvesting all the profits, and there's nothing out for owner's salary in this. So this graph represents 4 years growth, always cash flow positive. Growth from 1 product to 4 products to 15 products, selling 10 units a day at a 36% gross profit rate. So sales reached $3.6 million with profits of $1 million in year 4. But the cash, this red line is the cash, it only becomes available in quarter 4 of year 3. So by the way, this growth is massive considering it's organically funded. As we can see here, we've got the minimum cash required in each year. So we can see the profits going up, and then lagging just before that is the cash flow. So then let's look at this example where same model, 40 products by year 4, but we've dropped the average selling price by $3 from $25 to $22, which reduced the gross profit rate to 29%. Now you can see from this model that the business has cash flow problems in year 2 and 3, where there's no cash, even though the business makes profits of $270,000. So we've got almost no cash. It's going down below the zero cash level. Now the issue is, if you didn't have $25,000 in year 3, basically the sales from this point basically become mute as you start to go out of stock. So unless there's extra capital that this person would have invested in, the business wouldn't have got to these levels. So in this example, there's no cash available until quarter 4 of year 4, despite profits of close to $700,000. So here's an advantage for you, and here are the secrets. A business with a low gross profit model cannot grow as fast as a high gross profit model. So the strategy of reducing prices to get sales is not sustainable, because people focus on the wrong numbers, sales not profits. They have the wrong objectives, rankings not cash flow. And basically they're trying to run before they've learned to walk. And mathematically their business model cannot work. So your advantage is, remember those 3.2 million sellers with no inventory, or the 1.6 million selling under $100,000 a year? They didn't know the first principles of business, which is cash flow. So when people talk about too much competition on Amazon or the influx of new sellers, that does not matter to you, because you know how you'll know how to build a sustainable, profitable Amazon business. So the people who are undercutting you on price will not be there in 6 months. They just don't have the cash flow to sustain it. So like there's a formula for ranking your products or a formula for learning how to do different aspects within Amazon, there's a formula on how to grow fast on Amazon. And the low gross profit get sales formula just doesn't work. Mathematically, it doesn't work. So what I'm going to do is show you a roadmap for getting to the point where you can get to this position where you want your business to be, whether that's earning $100,000 a year or $200,000 a year or $1 million a year. And this roadmap will take into account the cash flow. And the thing is, it's very different to most people's roadmaps because it takes into account cash flow. So the first thing we need to consider is an accounting concept called working capital. Now, working capital is your engine on the business. So in Amazon, your working capital is your cash and inventory. So if you've got $1 million Amazon business, you have $1 million in sales, and say $300,000 in profit, you're going to need to have about $300,000 in inventory. So if you're another way to put it, if your business you're expecting to make $100,000 profit a year, and you're going to need to have about $100,000 in stock. Now, if you've only got $10,000 in stock, you cannot get to $100,000 profit a year. You just don't have the inventory to be able to sell. I'll give you an idea. Kering, the luxury division, which owns Gucci, Yves Saint Laurent, Stella McCarthy, has $11 billion in sales and about $3 billion euros in profit a year. It has $3.5 billion in inventory. Nike, which has $34 billion in revenue, $4 billion in inventory, has $4 billion in net profit, has $5 billion in inventory. So if you want to get to this position, you've got to start building up your inventory levels. I'm going to show you a way to do that. So it's breaking your business down into 4 stages. Now, the first start phase is your first product. Now, the object of the start phase are to, 1, validate your product. Do people want to buy this product at a profitable price? I see some people who validate their product at an unprofitable price because they give it away or use price as a launch strategy, and then buy more product which then just sits there because they can't sell it at the right price. Then you've got to validate the system. Does this system work? Can we get our products to rank organically on Amazon and get organic sales? Thirdly, you want to stabilize your inventory. That means keeping your product in stock, taking into account increasing sales as you optimize your listings and get better rankings. The overall growth in Amazon and seasonality factors like fourth quarter. This might mean your first order might be 500 units, then 750, then 1,000, then 2,000 units. And the fourth thing we want to do is build up our cash reserves to launch your next product. Now, we work on a budget of about $10,000 to launch a new product. That includes your first order, your launch costs, and about half of our second order. Now, during the start phase, you're learning about your market and how your product fits in, what your customers respond to, and who are the customer demographics, who are your competitors, and what strategies do they employ. So during this stage, we're looking to turn our initial $10,000 into around $20,000 to $30,000 in working capital. That means you need to make about $10,000 to $20,000 in profits. Now, the time involved in this stage is about 6 to 12 months, depending on how quickly you can get your inventory into Amazon and how well your product sells. So you also need to think about what stage your business is in before you decide to pursue some tactic you heard about on a podcast or Facebook. Think carefully if a Shopify site and website redesign is really appropriate for your business at this stage. Or is it better to wait until later when you can afford it? Shiny objects are not for this stage, however tempting. Now, you don't need an accounting system at this stage. Just keep a spreadsheet of your daily sales and expenses. The Amazon accounting system comes later when the cash flow from your business can sustain it. Remember the objectives of this stage. Validate your product, learn to sell, get your products ranking organically, and stabilize your inventory. So then we're looking at the establishing base. And what I mean by base is your working capital. So the objective, your establishing base phase is your second, third, and fourth products. Now, the objective of this stage is to build up your working capital to about $50,000 to $70,000 so that you have enough working capital to expand your business rapidly. Before we can move to expand rapidly, we make sure that we've got a stable platform with consistent cash flows. Now, in the start phase, we launched a product, got it ranked, developed organic sales, and stabilized our inventory so we didn't run out of stock. In the establishing base phase, we're proving to ourselves that we can do it again. Was the first product a fluke, or can we repeat the process, the system, and do it again? So then we launch our second product, stabilize the inventory, making sure that we don't run out of inventory on the first product or the second product. And we're working towards building the profit so we can launch our third product. So the business at this stage has got moving parts, multiple suppliers, multiple products, multiple ad campaigns, and products selling at different rates. So this is also the stage when you start putting your management tools in place. Now is the time to get an accounting system in place. We recommend Xero, the online accounting system, and A2X, a connector between Amazon and Xero's. Now, we put your accounting system in place now, one, because you can afford it, but principally so you know exactly how much money you're making each month or each fortnight. And your business is becoming more complex. Now you have multiple products selling at multiple prices and different gross profit rates. You can no longer just look at your sales for the day and know how much money you make. And you're also building up your other inventory reporting systems, tracking your movements in sessions conversion rates. Now, the thing to remember about this stage is you do not have free cash flows. You should not be taking money out of your business. You have to remember that it will have a significant effect on your ability to grow. So you could even stall the business, its growth of the business at this point, and fail to reach its full potential. So in the establishing base phase, the focus is on developing the sales and marketing systems of your business. You learn to optimize your listings, trying different things to find that sweet spot, because the next phase, you need to scale those sales and marketing systems. So in this stage, the expansion phase, we're looking to expand our product range from 4 products to 10 to 15 products. During this stage, you will see your profits rise from the $50,000 to $70,000 range to the $250,000 to $300,000 range. This phase is rapid growth towards $1 million business. You've got a stable platform. Your engine, your working capital, is ready to expand rapidly. You're confident in your ability to launch and sell new products. Plus, you've reduced the risk of what happens if it doesn't sell. You know how to make your product sell. Plus, everything is not riding on one product. You've got a range of products. So now you can ramp up the business. Now, the risk in this stage is still cash flow. You need to take care that you don't run out of cash and inventory. So it's essential you do a full inventory and cash flow forecast to ensure that you don't launch products too quickly. So you need to take into account the effect of fourth quarter. You will need to save up for fourth quarter to ensure that you have enough to keep your products in stock. You also need to revisit your cash flow and inventory forecast every few months, because you're going to have some products that sell really well and others move slowly. A sudden decision to buy an extra 2,000 units could mean that you have to delay the launch of another product. Now, one of our products just allowed variations. Variations are great because you can launch a new product without the launch costs. However, plus we guessed what we thought would be the best color. 2 of the new colors were going gangbusters, and we had to reorder significant amounts to cover this, but also meant that we had to delay the launch of new products until later in the year. In this stage of your business, your products may be launched every 3 months, and then every 2 months, and then every month, as the cash flow from each product launches increased. Now, in the start phase, you only had one product contributing towards the funds required for the second product. Now you've got 5, 6, 7, 8 products contributing to the launching of a new product. The focus of your skills also changes at this time. Your skills will now focus on financial and operational management rather than sales and marketing, which you have mastered for the purposes of this stage in your business. So then we come to the consolidation phase. So this is where you've got to 10 to 15 products, you're profitable, you've hit this $1 million mark in sales, $300,000 in profits. So it's basically important aspect to remember about business at this stage is it's a rule of 3 and 10. Basically, every time your business triples in size, everything breaks. The systems and processes you had in place for a $100,000 business will be insufficient or problematic at a $300,000 a year business or likewise at a $1 million business. The consolidation phase is about reworking your business so you have the systems, processes in place that are relevant for a $1 million business and not a $100,000 a year business. Because if you can try and embark on the next phase of your growth, you'll have a number of weak failure points that will destabilize your growth. The important thing about the consolidation phase is this should be where you've got free cash flows. This is a point at which you can say, okay, we can start taking money out of the business. Up until then, cash flow has been really tight. Now, the consolidation phase is when you start looking at reducing risk on a systematic basis throughout the business. One of the ways to reduce risk is through diversification or reducing concentration risk across each of your business areas. The difference between reducing risk now and at earlier stages is you can afford to do it. Your business is well resourced. Reducing risk is about locking away the winners. So let's look at, so the first step to is understand what stage your business is up to. You can't jump stages. It's a logical progression. Mathematically, financially, it doesn't work if you can't jump until you've set the foundation stones in place first. So starting phase, your first product, learning the processes, learning how to sell on Amazon, learning how to rank products and keep them ranked. Learning about your market, your customers, what appeals to them, what doesn't, how PPC works, finding the right PPC strategy for you. Understanding your supply chain, your suppliers, your freight processes. How long does it take to manufacture and send goods by air or sea? What things your suppliers, freight forwarders do well and what they don't. Making mistakes from them and learning from them, developing systems. Understanding some key numbers, your launch costs, your minimum inventory levels, expected sales per day and production times. And getting your inventory stable, not running out of stock. Having a minimum level of inventory can deal with sales volatility. Remember, it's really important to keep your products in stock. Really good things happen when you keep your product in stock. Amazon will start to promote your business. Whereas if you go out of stock, a whole bunch of things happen. Bad things happen. You have to relaunch. You don't get as many benefits from Amazon along the way. So if you try and launch a new product before your first product inventory level is stable, you will fail. You'll run out of cash and your first product will be at risk. No inventory, no sales, no cash. So in the establishing base phase, we're building up our working capital, cash and inventory, turning $10,000 into $50,000, reinvesting your profits into more inventory. We're developing a strong, consistent cash flow. So you know that each fortnight you'll get $5,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $10,000. Making sure that your first product was not a fluke. Applying the systems and processes and procedures from the first product to see if it still applies. And that you're working at improving the performance of your first products. Can it rank better? And we're stabilizing the inventory of the second product before moving on to the third. And there's no owner's drawings. This is a period of are building your cash flow so you don't have anything spare at this stage. The third stage, the expansion. You've now got a solid base, consistent sales, steady and reliable cash flow, stable inventory. You've got a belief in your ability to sell on Amazon. You're trusting instincts rather than following a step-by-step procedure that someone else has done. This is where you take your business from a part-time hobby to a business that can support a family, buy property, live your dreams. And it's going from $50,000 to $250,000 per year in profit. Now, the cash flow's going to be tight. You can't take your money out of the business at this stage. And it's got rapid growth. And the fourth stage is the consolidation phase. At this stage, you have free cash flows. The products are generating cash that do not need to be reinvested in the business. This is the cleanup stage, making your business more efficient, fixing the problems that flowed through them in the past. We're looking at diversification. We're looking at other sales channels, suppliers and products. Because you've got financial resources to pursue these other ideas. And you're taking you might then decide to take your products from 10 products to 100 products. And launching new products becomes much easier because we've now got the cash flow from 10 to 15 products to launch the new product. So where to now? Well, the point is to realize where your business is and where you want it to be and what type of business you want it to grow. Now, in this video, we learnt that the low profit, high sales business models in Amazon just don't work. They will fail before they get there. There's no case of, if I build sales and then I'll get there and fix it up later. It doesn't work that way in Amazon. You'll just run out of cash. But the Amazon business model has the opportunity and the ability to deliver a business where you can pursue what you want to do, achieve those goals.